everyone. Come on in because I am back, y'all. I am back. I know I'm late for this Married at First Sight review, but y'all know I live in California. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, but I made it. I made it. I'm safe. My family's safe. Our house is safe. Everything is safe, but still send prayers to lots of my friends. I have several friends who lost their homes. So please continue to pray for us all out here in Los Angeles, California area and the surrounding areas, because at this time, the fires are not just in Los Angeles anymore. They are lots of places throughout Southern California. But you know what? We're here to have a good time. We're not going to dwell on what's going on there because I'm here to have a good time. And I even brought back my trusted old chicken because he makes me laugh. And it's time to laugh and have a little bit of fun. I brought him back to deal with Ike because Ike is crazy, y'all. Ike is crazy, y'all. Let me tell you something. I know Ike is low self-esteem. We already know that. We done figured that out, that he's low self-esteem. He's intimidated by MM. But I think there's even more wrong with Ike. I think there's even more wrong with Ike. You definitely can see the narcissism in him. He's the king of gaslighting, a whole lot more. But before we get to that joker all the way, let's run through some of these other couples as they came on our screen and started giving us some new information to talk about since they've been gone for 2 weeks. So first up, we still over here looking at Madison and Allen, and this relationship still ain't going nowhere. You would think after us being gone for 2 weeks, there will be something to celebrate, but nope. Even that dog of Allen's don't like Madison. That dog loves to mess with Madison. That dog, I don't know what his name is. He tear up everything. He tearing up the whole house. He's farting everywhere. He's eating the cookies up. He's eating up her panties. That dog is a hot mess. He really is a hot mess. But you know, it's the 1 month anniversary and the couple is reminiscing about all the wonderful moments they've had, which aren't that many. And Allen is so happy. Poor Allen. Y'all, he gonna get his heart broken. Poor Allen is so happy. And they're looking at their little photo book and they're like, oh, I remember when Madison was so happy on that wedding day because that was the day of the fantasy. That was the day of the fantasy. For Madison, marriage is a fantasy. And she was happy on the wedding day because she was still in La La Land. But the minute reality sunk in where she was, she ain't been happy yet. You know, Allen was trying to have some conversations about it. He said, hey, do we need to talk about it? What can we do? She said, do you really want to have this type of conversation on our 1 month anniversary? Maybe we ought to keep it light. Keep it light, not so heavy because she don't really want to talk about it. She don't really want to talk about the real feelings going on. She want to gloss over it so that way she can get to decision day and just tell him no. He gonna get his heart broken. We see all them previews coming up. He about to have a meltdown, and we know why. We really do know why. And you know, he says he's walking on eggshells. He doesn't know if he can hug Madison, if he can kiss her, if he can touch her. He said, I ain't never met no woman this hard to read. I don't know why she hard to read, Allen. The answer is no. The answer is no, Allen. I don't even understand why it's so hard for you to read her. But on this anniversary day, what did they go do? They go play tennis, pickleball. Were they playing pickleball or were they playing tennis? I can't even remember. But whatever it is, it didn't seem like something you want to do on your anniversary, except if you were Madison and you a Chicago Bears linebacker. Girl, Madison loves to compete with her man. She loves anything she can do to compete with you. That's what she's going to do. So they went on out there and played tennis and you know, Allen said, you know, if I win, I want a kiss on the cheek. And lo and behold, Madison did her best to beat that man. You know, she was diving at every ball. She was trying to run as fast as she can, but still, she lost the game. You know how she really lost the game? All that arm strength. She kept hitting the ball out. That was her problem. All those muscles, all those guns. She didn't know how to finesse it. She didn't know how to finesse the game. And so eventually what happened was she hit the ball so hard, she kept hitting it out of bounds. And that's how she lost the game. Too much strength, Madison. You put too much heat on the ball. But that's what she likes to do, go hard in the paint. And she ended up losing the game. And he says, okay, I'm ready for my prize, Madison. I'm ready for my prize. I said, if I want a kiss. And what she did, she called a technicality. She goes, yep, but you didn't say what type of kiss you wanted. You never said what type. You didn't tell me you want a tongue kiss. So this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a kiss on the cheek. A kiss on the cheek. Man, they kiss you on the cheek in France and they don't even know you. Alan said, this is our 1 month anniversary and all I can get is a kiss on the cheek. I can't even get a kiss on the lips. This is foul, y'all. This is foul. And even after that wasn't good enough, I guess Alan thought, okay, well, maybe this is the end of our anniversary date. I don't have to do nothing anymore strenuous or exercise or build my muscles. And nope, it wasn't the end because next thing you know, they was going ziplining. She said, she told Alan, thank you for planning this date. I love this date. Really? Do you love the date, Madison? Because if you love it so much, can he get a little bit more than a kiss on the cheek? Nope. Alan over here, obstacle coursing, doing obstacle course in the sky, zip lining, hanging from a thin rope, and all he can get is a kiss on the cheek. Woo! This is horrible, y'all. This is horrible. But he's really trying. He really is trying. He said, oh, I could see us forever. I could see us having kids, being married, having grandkids 30 years from now. And what does Madison say for her chicken comment of the day? Forever is a long time. That's the chicken comment for the day for Madison when she said, forever is a long time. You know, I tell you, Alan, I don't know what's so hard to read about Madison. I really don't know why you're struggling to see the truth. I think you don't want to see the truth. What's the old statement from Jack Nicklaus? The truth, you can't handle the truth. Alan does not want to see the truth, even though it's staring him right in front of his face. Right in front of his face. But I guess as we move on, you know, the couple we can't celebrate is Camille and Thomas because Camille has finally turned the corner, y'all. She finally turned the corner and she's over here trying to appreciate her man a little bit. I guess what helped was when they started doing it in the bedroom because all of a sudden, I don't hear Camille talking no more about you ain't got enough swag. I guess he swagged it out in that bedroom because all of a sudden now, even she's dressing a little better. Did you see her little outfit when they went on their date night? Even she was looking a little bit better. But they have 1 month to go, and Camille said, and they said 1 month down and forever to go. Camille said, we're going to be forever. We're going to be together forever and ever and ever. I like it, Camille come out. Camille has finally turned the corner. And maybe after she looked around at all these other men and realized what a dweeb they were, she was like, I better stop complaining about my man. But you know what? They end up going to their little date night or their little date day at the basketball court so that Camille could beat her man too. Are y'all noticing anything about these couples? All the men are the sensitive men and all the women are hard. All the men are the ones crying over here, crying besides Ike, of course. They're crying, shedding tears, and they're trying to be all sappy and in love and saying all sweet stuff. And the women over here, all they want to do is beat their men. They want to beat them in sports. They want to beat them in dressing. They want to beat them in everything. Everything. So Camille says, let me show you my skills on the basketball court. And she ran a clinic on Thomas. Thomas was like, I pulled a hamstring. Camille made one move on Thomas, and next thing you know, he was pulling up, talking about, I pulled a hamstring. But before he could even get to the game, Camille was giving him a hard time about being late for the date. And he says, well, I was late, but when you hear about it later, maybe you'll give me a pass. And she tried to give him a hard time, talking about, I'm going to punish you on this basketball course. I want you to run some laps, some suicide laps or whatever they call it. Thomas was like, I'm tired. I'm 10 years older than you. I ain't got this type of energy, this speed, nor do I have this skill, Camille. I did not grow up in the South Side of Chicago playing basketball in the late night hours. That wasn't me. I was studying, Camille. I was studying. But Camille was reminiscing, saying, I was disappointed at first that you didn't show up here on time because I'm used to my daddy always supporting whatever I do. Girl, grow up. Grow up. Camille loves to compare Thomas to people of her past, but yet we know none of the people in her past relationships didn't even work. They didn't even work. She sat here on the dinner date with Thomas and said, this is the most healthy relationship I've ever had. Or maybe she even said this is the only healthy relationship she ever had. Then why are you so busy trying to make him like them thugs you used to go out with? Who does that? Who says it's the first healthy relationship she's ever been in, but yet constantly trying to get him to be somebody else? But they look like they solid as a rock. What's that song, Ashford and Simpson? Solid as a rock. Looks like they solid, y'all. They got a little quirks, little few things they got to work on here and there. But ain't no way these two going to say no to each other on decision day. I don't see it happening. I think we got a winner. I think we finally got a winner. And Thomas is impressed by Camille. Said, I've never seen a woman your age at 33 years old have so much ambition and drive. And he loves everything about her. Just everything. He's in awe of her. And so she said, yeah, you know what? She wants to have family in the next 5 years. They're talking about the next 5 years. They want to have family. They want to be successful. She wants to be a successful real estate agent because she wants to be able to make her own schedule. Because she said she don't want to wait till she's old and beat up at 60 and 65 not to be able to enjoy herself. Girl, you talking about me? Are you trying to talk about me? Let me tell you something. You're right. Don't wait until you're 60 years old to start enjoying yourself, to start having a good time, to start traveling, doing whatever you want to do. But don't think that you got to work so hard that you can't integrate fun into your life even when you're in your 30s, Camille. Don't save it till later, Camille. Camille is very, very conservative. So I'm going to tell her to loosen up a little bit. And I like the gift that Thomas gave her for her anniversary, the little red necklace. I think it had a little spark to her outfit. I thought her outfit was cute. And I think that the red necklace gave it a little bit of pop, just a little bit of pop. Because other than that, she wasn't really well accessorized. She just plain. That's okay though, Camille. Now all of a sudden you got Thomas, the one over here, giving you a little bit of jewelry, giving you a little bit of swag. And that's how she found out that the reason why he was late to the basketball game was because he had to run out to the suburbs to get this conservative necklace that he got. So there you go, Camille. That's why he was late. So hopefully it's okay now. And like I said, before we get to Ike and crazy old Ike, we got to talk about the other couples. We definitely got to talk about Michelle and David. And boy, another chicken award to Michelle. Another chicken award for Michelle. She's something else. That Michelle girl, she loved to fight. Michelle loves to fight. But I'm going to tell you this about David. Remember I said just a minute ago, I said this season is full of women who are a little bit hardcore and men who are a little bit sappy. Of course, not counting Eminem and KG because he's a whole fool, a whole joker's wild. But one of the things that Michelle was upset about was that when David got to their anniversary dinner, he was dressed down, like with a little pullover sweat, almost like what I got on. And they was over here sipping on fancy drinks, spicy margaritas. And David acted like he never had no type of drink and no glass like that. Didn't David own a whole bar? He must have owned a dive bar where all they did was serve beer, because sometimes David does act like he ain't experienced some things. But anyway, what Michelle was talking about was that, why didn't you dress up for the anniversary dinner? Here we are at the anniversary dinner and you didn't dress up for it. And she says, I thought you would have leveled up. Like Sierra said, level up, level up, level up, level up. She said, you at least could have put more gel in your hair. You could have combed your hair. You could have done something, shaved, trimmed your beard a little bit. And I'm going to say this. I know David keeps saying that he's doing a lot of trying with Michelle, but where he's doing a lot of trying is in the area of emotional support for Michelle, when the reality is Michelle has asked over and over, can you be a bit more suited and booted? I want a more polished man. So I know David says, well, I'm trying to take her to these nice places where she can know I can live this life. But yet Michelle is saying, but you're not playing the whole part. You're not suited. You're not booted. you don't come with the whole package. You're not neatly trimmed. So I will say this to David. If you really want to change all the way, I guess you would need to change your style of dressing too. And so far, we definitely have not seen David do that. Even when they get to the anniversary dinner with all the couples, I know he came from work, but he came from work still in a t-shirt. He didn't bring no jacket in the car with him. He didn't do nothing special. He shows up as he is. So in that respect, I think Michelle is saying is, I keep telling you what I want, but you're not giving it to me. Basically what she's saying is, I need you to slick back that man bun with some gel control, make it real nice and neat like it was on the wedding day. Because after the wedding day, David just let that hair go wild. He let that hair do what that hair do. Let it do what it do. And Michelle is not feeling it. Not feeling it at all. And but then they got back and forth with this tit for tat, talking about, well, what does make you happy, Michelle? And Michelle says, being in her comfort zone and people around her who love her and care about her. Girl, so you saying what makes you happy is just people sitting around and flattering you with a whole bunch of compliments and doing what you say do? That's what it sounds like. Because, I mean, she didn't really mention no hobby. She didn't mention what she likes to do that makes her happy. All it was about what people are doing for her to make her happy. That's it. She just wants everybody. She wants to be in her comfort zone. She don't want to change nothing about herself. And she wants people around her who going to pump up her head and blow up her head. And then next thing she said, I'm tired of asking all the questions. What? Are you kidding me, Michelle? All your answers be negative one-word answers. There's no positivity, nothing. She told this man, I'm tired of being the one that always asks all the questions, and he don't ever ask her nothing. Poor David, he was like, am I in the twilight zone? He dealing with a chicken. That's how you feel, David, when you're dealing with a chicken woman. A chicken woman who's spinning you around, talking chicken talk, because none of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. And in the end, he's like, well, if you ask me a question and I answer the question, wouldn't it make logical sense that after I answer it, you should answer the same question and give me information about yourself? She said, no, that doesn't make any sense to me. That's not logic. This girl, David, I'm gonna answer the question to your question. I'm gonna answer your question. What makes her happy? Complaining. That's what makes her happy. Complaining and being negative Nancy. And she basically told the man, I don't even want to move forward in this relationship. There's nothing left. I don't want to move forward. And he says, well, I don't know where to go from here. I don't know where to go. You're going to have to give me some directions. And it don't matter what direction you go into, David. All she's going to do is criticize it. All she's going to do is criticize it. But, they got home and they was, reminiscing over the wedding book and seeing all the pictures from the wedding day and watching the tape roll back. And Michelle's all giddy and she's laughing. She's so jovial at the wedding. That's all until she figures out that he was a out of business bar owner living at home in the basement apartment. And them laughs went from laughs to criticism. From laughs to criticism. And David, he doubles down. He does more and more of what he knows how to do best. David knows how to be an emotional support system. He's very, very good at that. But Michelle, she ain't got no emotion in her. She's like a chicken. No emotion. No emotion. What Michelle wants is not an emotional provider, which David is trying to be an emotional comforter. David's trying to be an emotional comforter, and what Michelle wants is a financial comforter. She's like, I could care less about all this tenderness you giving me, all this love and concern and all this kisses you want to give me and all this other kind of stuff. What I want is the money. Show me the money. So in a lot of ways, what Michelle is asking for, David is not providing. He's giving a whole lot of stuff to Michelle that's sweet and kind, but she don't want none of that. She does not want any of that. She want a man. David over here giving her a man who's emotionally strong and in touch with his feelings. And Michelle want a man who's financially strong and in touch with his wallet. She want a more polished guy. She really does. So, and David, unless you're going to be showing up and button down shirts with blazers and some shoes and some shoes that are shined up, you can forget about it. And you're going to cut that man gun into a nice, neat, short haircut and trim that beard. You can forget about it. If you did all that, David, maybe you'd have a chance. But David really ain't done none of that. He ain't changed no outer appearance nor inner appearance. David is playing the same old playbook with Michelle and asking her why she don't like it. So there it is. And then we got to get to my interesting couple, which is Juan and Carla. Boy, I've been going back and forth with y'all in the comments about Juan and Carla. And I know y'all are mad at Carla right now because Carla said that she quit that doggone job at the hair salon. She said, because can't nobody tell me what to do, Juan. You know that. And I don't quit that job. And Juan is hotter than fish grease because what Juan wants is she need to be able to pay half that rent at that apartment that Juan got. Remember, Juan has the apartment in Chicago overlooking Soldier Field, which we know has got to be a pretty not a cheap rent. But he got a roommate. So Juan is used to going 50-50 on that apartment overlooking Soldier Field. And what he wants to make sure is that if this apartment is costing us $5,000 a month, whatever it is, Carla, I want to make sure you got your $2,500 because he's the 50-50 man. He is the 50-50 man. And Carla already said, I don't have a problem going 50-50, but I'm going to go 50-50 on something I want to afford. And what she's saying is, I don't need to live in the apartment looking at Soldier Field. I can live in any old apartment and I can go 50-50 on $1,700. Carla said, I can go 50-50 on $1,700, but you're not going to be trying to use my money to live in an apartment across from Soldier Field. And I don't even know the name of the players who play for Chicago Bears, Juan. And Juan is an imposter anyway. I know y'all realize now that Juan is an imposter. I really hope. I know y'all talking about Carla and she homeless and all this other kind of stuff. Juan is an imposter. We finally get a glimpse of Juan's business. Is it really a business, y'all? Is it really a business? We get a tour of this business, and Juan proceeds to tell us that half of the warehouse that he has for his business, part of it, the front side, is a fantasy factory. A fantasy factory, yep. You know what I think it is? A fantasy business. Basically, it don't make no money. And he said, that part of the business, my business partner's renting out. Well, that means, what do you do? What do you do, Juan? See, all this is starting to fall apart. I know they was trying to make Carla seem dumb, like Carla don't know what Juan does. You know what? I got a whole engineering degree myself, and Carla, I'm with you. I don't know what he does, because then he started going on talking about the front is the fantasy factory. I thought he had an app in a construction business. Now we got a fantasy factory, Juan. Okay. He said the back is where all of the work happens. And he says back here, his partner does custom furniture, but he does commercial millwork cabinets. What? That place didn't look like no place that you could be manufacturing things in. What's he talking about? Talking about he does anything wood and steel in commercial buildings. So Carla was like, well, do you sell it? Do you install it? Do you manufacture it? Then Juan said, I'm the managing partner. I bring in customers. What do you do, Juan? Juan is over here talking about Carla ain't got no job. But Juan has described about 50 jobs to us. And I guess if he thinks he keeps talking, he can fool us all. Nope, I don't think so. And just like Carla said, he's very busy. He does a lot of things. He likes typing on his computer like he's Thriller, Michael Jackson Thriller. That Carla, she's a fool. That Carla, she is funny. But when Carla sat up there and said, I got a surprise for you, Juan. I got a surprise for you. And Juan said, oh no, what is the surprise? And she said, I just want to let you know, I quit that job where I was working for that lady at that hair salon. Woo! Juan said he is nervous. He's nervous. But you know what? Carla said, you know what? Don't worry about it because I'm just going to be going to my clients' houses to do the appointments. And never along the way did Carla tell him he was going to have to pay her bills. She never said it, y'all. I know y'all going to jump on it. Carla never said, you're going to have to pay my bills. Now, one thing Carla is letting Juan know is that you can be a 50-50 man all you want. Be 50-50, Juan. Be 50-50 all you want. But what you're going to get is you're going to get 50% of a low salary. Carla is getting Juan real good, real good. Carla's letting Juan know, listen, let me tell you something. I'm not going to bring in a lot of money, but I'm going to bring in enough to survive. I'm going to bring enough to care for myself. I'm not asking you to pay none of my bills. But what you're not going to do, Juan, is you're not going to get me out here working so I can pay 50% of the rent in that apartment across from Soldier Field and be paying 50% of the fantasy factory. Carla said, nope, I am not the one. You're not getting my money to pay 50% of this app that ain't making no money. And these businesses that you can't even describe, Juan. This is some bull crap. Carla said that salon was sucking all her creativity up. She said she thinks she can expand her business anymore. She said, in fact, Juan, I got a woman in New York who wants to fly me in so I can be the hairstylist for her whole fashion show, production show. Juan says, what? For real? You getting fluid in? You getting fluid in? She says, I sure am. He said, give me the details because I got to know if it's real or not. He is over here counting Carla's money. What is your hourly day? What are you going to do? How much you going to work? Man, Juan, get out her pocketbook. You know, it's really funny that he want to be all up in Carla's pocketbook. But like I said, can anybody really describe Juan's job? Does anybody really know what Juan does? But he over here giving Carla a hard time, talking about her career ain't defined enough. I'm all for if y'all want to get on Carla, get on her if you want to. But then you're going to have to get on Juan because his career is not defined. I'm telling you, it is not defined. He's over here. I need the details. Do you got a signed contract? What's your start and end time? What's your start and beginning and end date? Do you already got a plane ticket? Dang, Juan, slow down. Juan over here making up a problem before it's one. Carla ain't asked him to pay zero bills. Zero bills. She said, I got 50% on it. I got 50% on a regular apartment where the rent is like $2,000 a month. This relationship ain't going nowhere either, y'all. It ain't going nowhere. But last but not least, we got to get to MM and Ike. And I tell you, happy anniversary. He's so sassy, y'all. Just like MM said, he's a joker. He is one big joker. And, you know, MM is trying her best. She's plans this anniversary picnic. And the first thing he said was, did you make it yourself? I can't stand them, y'all. I can't stand them. Every time MM does something, whether it was for the party or she got the tacos, it's all about, did you do it yourself? Did you do it? Did you do it? Why? What did you do? What have you done for the anniversary? He did not bring one thing to the picnic for anniversary, not a bottle of wine or nothing. Okay. MM got all the food. She's making the charcuterie board. She done brought the champagne. He was even making MM pop the champagne until she said, I'm having a bit of a problem with it. Then finally he took it and he opened it up. But at that, he wasn't even going to offer to open up the champagne. I can't stand him. He does nothing at all. She got it all laid out. He goes, oh, well, this is very well planned and very well thought out. He was jealous of that. It's almost as if he was jealous because she could put together a nice little spread like this. He said it with just such envy in his heart. You could see it. Envy written all over him. And even after he opened up the champagne and she said, oh, thank you for opening, he didn't even say you're welcome, nothing. Just a nasty attitude. Like I said, he's more than a joker. He's narcissistic. He's mean. He's got issues. You got issues when even Juan say you got issues. Even Juan later on at that dinner told him he got issues. And, they're sitting around and they're talking and even MM thought about something he'd like to do and had some paint activities there. And the artist, MM's painting was just as good as his. Here he is, the artist, trying to tell her how to paint and what to do. And in the end, her picture was about as good as his. So once again, he ain't no better there either. No better whatsoever. And he was like, yeah, well, this is the kind of stuff that I like to do. This here, live in the moment. And basically what MM said to him was, well, are you going to be all talk and no action? Because, he always talks about what he wants. He wants to be in the moment, but he doesn't do nothing. Last time they're talking about what type of dates to go out on, but he didn't plan no dates. Now he's talking about what he likes to do, this kind of stuff, easy, in the moment, nearby, but yet he don't plan nothing. And what MM is saying is you talk a whole lot, but you don't do a whole lot. Even Madison called him a con artist this episode because that's what he is. He's a con artist. He's all talk, no action. And then he starts throwing this big old hissy fit, talking about, I guess my answer is never good enough for you. Because basically you don't answer the question. You say whatever you want to say, answer in whatever way you want to. And when someone tells you you're not really answering the question, you say, well, that's what I want to answer. Well, that's not a conversation. When I ask you what color is that and you tell me what you're doing tomorrow, that's not a conversation because I don't know who you're talking to. You're not talking to me. So I don't know what style of communication EKG has. Maybe it's chicken talk. It's a bunch of chicken talk because I guess he feels it's a conversation when he can just answer questions any kind of way he wants to, even though it doesn't have any relevance to what you're asking him. When he was talking about what he likes to see, she was asking, well, is that going to be something you practice? Basically, are you going to practice what you preach or are you just going to talk about it? But of course, he said, oh, you don't like my answer. You're not supportive of me. My answer's never good enough for you. That's not what she's saying. We saying your answer is irrelevant to what the conversation is about and what the question was. Good Lord. Even when they got home and they were looking at the wedding book and she said, do you want to look at the book with me? He sat over there by himself in the corner, not even want to come over and sit next to her on the couch. She had to turn the book around and show it to him like he 50 feet across the room. He's ignorant. He's an idiot. I can't stand him. I really can't stand him. I can't stand him. And so then they start saying, okay, let's look at these vows and let's see, do you think these vows, now that you know me so much better now, do you think these vows what do you think of the vows now that you know me? And he says, well, I meant what I said when I wrote the vows. Once again, irrelevant. Irrelevant, not even answering the question, don't have nothing to do with the question. You want me to interpret what you're saying. Something's wrong with them. Something is wrong with them. And he said, well, once again, my answer is not good enough for you, MM. You always putting me down. Ain't nobody putting you down. Ain't nobody putting you down. And it was in this moment where he showed his whole chicken ass right here. He showed that whole chicken ass. That's what he showed because he started going down the road, y'all, and started calling her, if you want to poke the bear and be an asshole because you don't like the answer I'm giving and you want to charge me up with your big stick and hit me over the head. What big stick? This is all in his head. This is all in his head because this man feels this small. He feels as small as the a-hole on this chicken. This is how he feels next to her, and he's taking it all out on her. All this is emotional abuse, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It was really, really tough to watch him emotionally abuse her in that way. It really did. Even later on, even Camille said, hey, he's supposed to be this woke black man, and here he is calling a black woman aggressive. And that is one of the most triggering words to be out there. It really is. He's over here acting a fool, talking about, you want me to respect you, but don't be coming at me with these answers. It was just horrible to watch, y'all. It really was. And, then after everything, she's keeping it all together while this is going on. And then she goes into the room and she cries. Now, this is where I'm going to get to where I would have wanted Eminem be different. One thing I really don't like with a lot of women is we always try to be so strong in a moment where we are clearly getting beaten down by someone's words. And what we do is we try to stand there and take it and act like it doesn't hurt us. And then when that person leaves the room, that's when we break down and cry. No. Let them see your tears. Cry in front of them. Double over and cry. Let them know how much they've hurt you. Stop trying to put on this brave face that someone can sit in front of your face, say the things that he just said to you, and you sit there and you're so strong, but the minute he leaves and goes out the room, that's when you go in the room and you cry because you don't want him to see you cry. I guess women think, I don't want him to see me break. No, you need to let him see you break, because when you don't let him see you break, then he gets to run around and do what he's doing, and he gets to talk about how he's the victim. You see, KG is running around talking about he's the victim of MM, even though we know he isn't. And when he is pounding on her with these nasty, abusive words, she was there taking it like a champ, taking the punches on the chin, nodding her hair. And then when he leaves and he's finished doing his dirty work on her, then she breaks down and cries. Ladies, don't do that. Don't let people abuse you verbally and you sit there and you take it and act like you such a strong woman and then you break down and cry. No, cry in front of them. You be the victim because you are the victim. Why do you need to be strong when you're the victim and then that man gets to step into the victim chair? He gets to sit in the victim chair, act like he's the victim. He's no victim. He's the perpetrator. But yet you're over here taking all these blows. That's the one thing I wish I could change about the way Eminem handled that situation. I really would have wanted her to sit there in that moment, cry, and say, you're abusing me. You're verbally abusive. All the things he's trying to say about her, I wish she would have cried in that moment and said it. I really, really do. She's over here texting him, talking about, is he going to come back? What for, MM? What for? I know he later on came back and packed up his own bags. You should have packed them for him. Girl, you ain't got to be strong through this. I hope there's one lesson that she's learned, and that is she does not need to be strong through situations like this. This is the time for women to show their vulnerability, to show so people can rally around them. Even when they were at this dinner table that became a complete mess. The anniversary dinner. And he ends up coming late, okay? And MM was looking good. She put on her red bottoms. Let me tell you, MM was looking good. She put on her cape, her white cape, and her red bottoms. You ain't got to be no hero though, MM. I hope the cape isn't symbolism of being a hero, because in this moment, it is nothing wrong with sitting there and crying because this man is being rude. He's being disrespectful. And even when this man was still acting up at this dinner, there were several men who asked MM, do you want a hug? There were several men who tried to intervene on her behalf. And what I wish MM would have done was said, yeah, I need a hug. I wish she would have gone ahead and played that vulnerable spot so other men, other ladies could have rallied around her, came and gave her a hug and made that man look more like a fool. You see, that's really what I wish she had done. I know in the end, she ended up losing it. I get it. It was a lot. She ended up raising up against him. She ended up kind of trying to match his negative energy. She started trying to match it. And actually, I didn't like that part. And it really took my old girl, Carla, to come in and say, MM, we need to step outside. We need to go to the restroom. Because what Carla was saying is, don't let this clown get your energy up like that. And don't let him take you to the gutter where he is. Because what Carla was saying to MM is, you classier than this. You are so much more classier to him. But right now, your energy is starting to match his energy. And what I really hope for women is that they express their true emotions. Because what MM was doing, she was angry. I get it. But what she was more also upset about was she was embarrassed. She was hurt. She probably felt ashamed. There was a lot of other emotions she was feeling. And I wish those were the emotions she would have led with, and that she would have accepted the love and tenderness that a lot of those men at the table were trying to give her. They were actually trying to take up for her. But once she started to buck up, they kind of felt like, okay, well, I guess you can handle it, girl. Nah, ladies, don't be trying to handle these fool, clown, joker men out here in the street. Let people come to your rescue. Let people come to your aid. You do not have to be this strong. Because once she got sort of out of pocket, once she got sort of out of herself, then that asshole sat up there and said, see what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? That's the moment he was waiting for. He was waiting to drag MM down to the gutter so he could sit in front of everybody else and say, see what I was telling you? I told you she's not that polished. I told you this is how she acts. He set her up. He set MM up. He came there to push her button so hard to make her snap. So eventually he could say, I told you she was mean. I told you she was nasty. Now look at it. That's what I'm saying. Don't let men do this to you. He was walking around talking about he ain't got no peace in his home, but he came here for peace. But then all of a sudden he started snapping at Michelle too, talking about, I don't want to talk about my marriage with none of you people. And she said, well, why are you here? Why are you even on the show then if you don't want to talk about your marriage? It's called Married at First Sight. What else we going to talk about if we ain't talking about our marriages? He said, well, I could go then. He's nasty. Even Madison said he's a con artist. He's a one hell of a con artist, a horrible one at that. I don't even know how he fooled these experts at all. I don't know how he fooled them. He done followed this whole show from Houston to Chicago to get on here and act like a fool. I was so happy when he went back and packed his bags and left. Good riddance. Good riddance, Ike. I was so happy for him to go. And at this dinner table, we got Juan over here lying more, not really. We got Juan over here lying more, not really talk about what's really going on in the relationship, acting like everything is cool and everything is chill. He's a cover up. And I didn't like the way he was over there trying to talk about, well, you pointing fingers just like KJ is. Ike's pointing fingers, you're pointing fingers. You both are doing a whole lot of finger pointing. Go sit down, Juan. Go sit down. I don't like you either. David showed up for a little while without a jacket on once again. I tell you, if he's really trying to impress Michelle, he better try to put on a jacket and a button and a button collar, one of the two, and stop wearing all these pullovers. Ike is running around talking about his wife cheats him like shit. And David steps in and says, hey, you know what? Maybe we ought to stop having this conversation because your choice of words is out of pocket, really out of pocket. And even David said he wished he could have given MM a hug, but she didn't want one. She didn't ask for one. Girl, ladies, get your hugs. Let other men check men in your life treating you poorly. Let other men step up to help you, save you, rescue you. But if we're always acting like we got it together and we can hold it together, then no one don't feel no need to help us. And in the end, it was Carla, my old girl Carla, she did it. She was the one that pulled MM to the restroom and said, listen, we are here for MM. We just want to make sure we don't need to talk about that fool clown no more. We want to make sure MM's okay. And we got Camille over there talking about, yeah, because you know what? I was going to get up on my seat and I was going to do this. Girl, Camille, stop lying. Camille, stop lying. Camille act like she was a thug and she was going to go over there and beat up Ike. Talking about, yeah, because I didn't want to get up out my seat. Girl, Camille, who does Camille think she's fooling out here? No one. She over here talking about, don't make me stand up. I was going to tell him, don't make me stand up. And she didn't do nothing. And then when they was going back out there, she goes, yeah, I'm going to just let y'all handle it. Camille, the girl from the suburbs, she know how to put on an act. There's a whole lot of people putting on acts. Camille is one of them. Actually, she from the south side of Chicago. Girl, no. We know who you are, Camille. You ain't fighting nobody and ain't been in no fights. Period. By the time Ike left there, he talking to the producers, talking about he's leaving. He goes, I may not be good enough for her, be whatever with her, but I'm somebody's Hennessy and Coke. No, you ain't even nobody's Hennessy and Coke. Maybe some EJ Brandy. You might be somebody's E and J Brandy, but you definitely ain't no Hennessy. Forget about it. It was just so uncomfortable to watch the things he's saying, talking about she's jumping all over me, and she been jumping on me since day one. And she didn't even let me kiss her at the wedding. I couldn't even ask her, could I kiss her before her tongue was all down my throat. Get out of here, Ike. Get out of here. Yeah, I feel sorry for MM. I mean, she's done a very wonderful job in holding it together. She lost it here in the end, but it's understandable. But I will say in the end, to any woman who finds yourself in situations like this, try your best. Try your best. I know MM said, if you want to tear me down, then it's going to be warfare. No, try your best not to do that. Try your best to stay, as Carla said, stay in your feminine, because there's other people who can come around you and fight some of your battles for you. But when you stay in warfare, most people feel as if they don't need to show up for you. They can sit back because you got it. I really wish a lot of women, when they encounter men like Ike, who are verbally abusive or other ways abusive, that you don't always try to fight all your battles yourself. Sometimes you need surrogate people that will step in for you and do some of that dirty work for you and really get them. But that means you have to sit back, be vulnerable. And when people say they want to come and help you, you've got to say yes to the help. You don't have to be strong. I hope that's one lesson that MM can learn from this, is that in this moment when this man was acting so out of pocket and so wrong, I really wish there were more of those moments where she would have accepted the help of some of those men to check, that were willing to check Ike in the moment before she decided that she wanted to go with the warfare type plan. But just very, very hurtful. I mean, in the end of the show, she went back to the apartment. She saw that he had left and moved out. And she was like, yep. And she said she didn't really like the way that how he treated her. And he says he didn't like the way that she treated him. She treated him like he wasn't nothing. But that was all projecting from Ike. We never saw any of that from MM, and I don't believe she did any of that. I think MM's presence alone was enough to make Ike feel small. And in the end, after MM was strong for the cameras, she went behind closed doors. She closed the door and she cried and she bawled. But she put on a strong face for the crowd. Nothing's wrong, ladies. Nothing's wrong with being vulnerable. Nothing's wrong with it's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of weakness to tell a person you're mean, you're hurtful, and I feel sad, I feel hurt, I feel embarrassed, I feel whatever. Your emotion that you express doesn't always have to be the one of anger. Anger is a very, very low level emotion. But sometimes I want ladies to go the next level deeper and express that other emotion, the one you're really feeling, which is hurt, sadness, embarrassment, resentment, whatever it is. Because we don't have to lead with that one that he was trying to bring out. He's been trying to bring this part of MM out for a long time. This man was trying to get her to go to the gutter with him because he was trying his best to poke at her. Everything he was saying she did to him is really what he was doing to her. He was the one poking the bear. And the minute she lost it just a little bit, you could see a bit of glimmer in his eyes when he said, see, I told you so. That's when you knew all along what his agenda was. His agenda is to knock her down. You see, because what he saw in MM is what we all saw in Eminem, is that she's a classy and she's a step above. And what he needed you all to see him as was a person that's in the gutter. And for you to see that so he could feel better, he had to bring her down to the gutter. That's what he's been trying all this time. He needs to knock her down because he needs to elevate himself. And the way that he was trying to knock her down was let me poke at her and poke at her and poke at her, tell her horrible things, say nasty things to her, so that she'll break and she'll lose it. That's what his whole game plan was. That's it. Because he feels small. He feels small. Horrible. He's not really fit actually for anyone. There is no woman out here who needs to be with this man. I hope every woman that he ever tries to date comes here and reviews this show and realizes that he ain't worth nothing. Nothing at all. Bye, chickenhead Ike. I'm glad we won't have to see you again. I'm sure we're going to see you on the last show where you get to say no or whatever else. But hopefully we won't have to see you to that day. Bye. But that's it, y'all. That's all I got. Talk to y'all later. Bye.